Have you heard of Eli Mistal? I hadn't either. He was on The View, and apparently he does not like the United States Constitution. This is what he said about it.
The Constitution is kind of trash. Now, let's just talk as adults for a second.
What did you say? It's what?
It's kind of trash.
Trash.
It was written by slavers and colonists and white people who were willing to make deals with slavers and colonists.
Yeah, they were going to make deals with them. And so it is trash because of the people who wrote it, and anything that's contained in it is garbage. And so, of course, people like him, as we're going to learn, want this to change. They want a living, breathing constitution, something that just kind of is modified to suit their needs. Who is this guy? According to Twitter, Elie Mystal is somebody who is a justice correspondent over at The Nation. And we can see here that he joined back May 2009. He is somebody who has 367,000 followers. A lot of people support the work. And of course, you can see he's an Alfred Nobler Fellow, somebody who is promoting a new book. Of course, this new book is here. It's written, it's called Allow Me to Retort. You can see the cover of this. The book went on sale on 3/1/2022, which is why he's going around on the news and making these provocative statements. Of course, he's got a lot of books to sell. Somebody named Michael Harriet said, after reading Allow Me to Retort, I want Elie Mystal to explain everything I don't understand. Which is probably a lot, like quantum astrophysics and the infield fly rule and why. Okay, so you can see, right, kind of a nice, fun testimonial for his new book. On Amazon, it is going on Kindle for $14.57. You can get a hardcover for just a smooth $25. Also available on Audible, and it's probably just... All right, so it's got 3 ratings. Let's see how that goes for him. Now, who is this guy? Now, I tried to see if I could dig in and find a bio. This is what I found over at lawyersofcolor.org. They went through, apparently, they made a list of the most influential black lawyers of the decade, and Elie Mystal, the justice correspondent over from The Nation, is an erudite legal industry reporter, brings his fervor to the justice beat. Number 5 on the list of however many. They give us a little bit more detail about this guy. Mystal got his start writing for the New York Press. He quit his job as a litigator for the prestigious law firm De Beauvoir and Plimpton, which is interesting. And I like when they have to tell you how prestigious a law firm is by using the adjective prestigious. The complexity of legal matters can be confusing to average Americans, which is, we talked, yeah, it can be confusing. That's true. Mystal has shouldered the responsibility of breaking down legal matters through his writing for the average Joe, for the dummies out there, to understand the rules of law. Particularly, Mystal dissects the law as it regards African Americans and other minority communities, helping them understand the fine points and legislations of matters that directly affect them. He's a renowned writer and editor with works featured in the New York Times, Daily News, served on other panels, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, and he says here, several other reputable news broadcasting channels. Okay, well, it's up for debate. I would object to that phrase, but okay. Here is the rest of the clip. So this is Mr. Mystal. Now, the rest of this, we heard from him saying, well, the Constitution is trash, but he kind of goes on and he describes why it's so terrible. Let's listen.
They didn't ask anybody who looked like me what they thought about the Constitution. They didn't say, oh, Jim, come over here. What do you think about this old Constitution? Well, massa, I sure don't like how you sell my children. But I gotta say, man, this King George, he needs to be stopped. My grandpapa used to say, ain't no taxation without representation for massa. Like, that's not what happened.
Okay.
Right?
So a lot of uncomfortable laughs there. You can sort of hear the laughing under the breath of what is he doing? It's kind of insulting, is it not? I think I watched that and I felt a little uncomfortable. I thought that what he was doing was supposed to be a racist caricature of black people, right? This was something that racist white people did to mock the I guess less sophisticated, allegedly, black people, and that was sort of, I guess, the caricature that was around back during that era. And so he's bringing it up and sort of, I guess maybe he's self-identifying with it to take the power out of it or something like that. But I think it made everybody uncomfortable on there. Just sort of, what do you are you implying that that's how all black people thought at the time, like that's what the conversation would have sounded like. Which sounds kind of racist to me, but these issues are extremely confusing these days, so you'll have to forgive me on this. I can't tell anymore what is or what is not racist. Anyways, he says that they would not have communicated to him, and that's why this is trash. That, they were not included or considered. This is where it goes from there. What do we do about it now, Mr. Mistle, now that we have a trash constitution? Do you want to just throw it right in the garbage or what?
This document was written without the consent of black and brown people in this country and without the consent of women in this country. And I say if that is the starting point, the very least we can do is ignore what those slavers and colonists and misogynists thought and interpret the Constitution in a way that makes sense for our modern.
Ignore it, change it, interpret it in a way that makes sense for our communities is where that clip was going. And so the question, of course, is, do you think the Constitution is trash? Could you just rewrite it very easily and simply? Here's what Mr. Mistle said.
World. That's
Do you want to rewrite it? Do you want to rewrite it?
I could, right? I could rewrite parts of it in a tweet, right? Like how
Easy.
about popular election for the president?
Popular election for the president. Super easy. Just put that in a tweet. Boom. And the Constitution was apparently, it sounds like, was very simple to write. You just had a couple people who just kind of got together. They could have done it on a tweet. Maybe they didn't have Twitter back then, but they had a napkin, probably, not really like a bar napkin, but maybe some other sort of napkin, some sort of parchment or something back then. And maybe they just jotted down the Constitution on a parchment. It's just that simple. And he could do a much better job because he is much smarter and more sophisticated than the rest of us. And it did not require things like the Federalist Papers. The Federalist Papers, the Anti-Federalist Papers, very important documents, all of the debates that took place at the Continental Congress. We can see that there was a lot of history that went into the founding of the Constitution, and it didn't just start because a couple people came together and smashed their heads together in a room. It was built on thousands of years of history and political science that had been studied up until that time, and it was ultra hyper compressed into a series of arguments called the Federalist Papers, commonly referred to as the Federalist Papers. It is a series of 85 essays written by Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and James Madison, sort of the father of the Constitution. It was written between October and May 1787 and 1788, written anonymously because of the danger of these arguments under the name Publius, to convince the colonials back during the founding era to ratify the Constitution and join a more strength preserving union. You can see various New York State newspapers around the time published these, and so there was a lot that went into it. So I take offense to the word trash. I think it's actually a very, very important document, something that has led to a lot of freedom and happiness and prosperity for many people, not only here in this geographic land, but also throughout the world. And so we know that he has to get out there and sell books. Maybe we should think twice before we trash some of the old institutions that are actually still functional. Let's see what you have to say about it. Let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe wherever it is you're watching this, because I look forward to seeing you on the next one.